everybody, and welcome to Stumptcast. I am Rick, and I'm joined, as always, by Price, Ash, and Jasmine. Say hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. How is the world doing out there this week? So
it's doing good.
We've got some fun stuff planned for this podcast. We've got our Marvel Minute. We've got our Stump's Adventure Corner. We've got a fun game coming up. Yeah. But we'll get into the podcast by finding out how's your week, everybody. Price.
It's been pretty good. I've been playing tons of Binding of Isaac when I've had the chance. I've been out of town, so that's been kind of cutting into my free play time. But when
what you been doing? Where you been?
Oh, I've been down in LA. I was down there for a family birthday, a 90th birthday party. Pretty cool. Lots of fun.
Yeah, like the birth of your family.
The birth of my family. 90 years ago, our family sprung out of the universe.
The pig family.
The pig family.
This guy was dying of jet lag from a flight from LA to Portland.
Somebody called it. I used the term jet lag, and apparently I've used that term incorrectly. Yeah. It's flight fatigue, I guess. I was in the airport all day and all that. Felt awful. All right, screw you guys. I've also been on flights to the other side of the world, and they were fine. All right, leave me alone. Yeah. But yeah. So other than that, I have also jumped back into watching a whole bunch of WWF or WWE as it is called now. But like
WWF.
So for the whole month of November, I guess the WWE Network, which is like a Netflix for wrestling.
So is it World Wrestling Entertainment?
Now it is, yes, because they got
the World Wildlife
because they got sued by the World Wildlife Foundation for the rights to use that acronym. So, but I've been watching a whole bunch of that stuff because it was free for the whole month of November, and now I'm like, I'm definitely going to buy it because I have to have
That's
it.
insane.
That's how they hook
it's
you.
It's Netflix for wrestling. But that's the thing. I grew up on that stuff.
How much is it?
It's $10 a month.
What?
I know. But the thing is, like, I'll probably get through it all by...
That's more than Netflix.
It is more than Netflix. It's like the same thing as that. But here's the thing. I'll probably burn through it since winter break is coming up. I'll probably watch, like, everything. I will probably watch every WrestleMania, every Survivor Series, every Royal Rumble since 91 until today, and then I'll be done.
This guy is like so busy all the time, yet somehow he manages to find a way to burn through this kind of
garbage. It's called priorities,
Dude, here's what it's called. It's called dual monitors. Binding of Isaac on the left and WWE on the right. This is the heaven that I've built for myself above my desk, all right? So yeah, wow. that's what I've been doing. That's been my life.
That's exciting.
Ash, how's your week?
I've been getting the itch to play WoW again, I gotta say.
Yep.
I have been 2 years clean, Ash. 2 years. I say clean because it is a problem.
It's a drug.
10 million people. 10 million. 2.5 million extra players up from the third quarter.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the new expansion looks super fun, so I'm not saying that I'll play it yet. But I've been getting that itch.
He will. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I've known Ash for years, and I've known that every time Ash kind of goes, oh, guys, I'm getting the itch, he's actually scratching the back of his hand.
Yeah,
right
I'm getting the itch.
He's like, when he gets the itch, here's what he does. He tells everybody else. He says, guys, I've been thinking of getting back into WoW. And then we all get the itch because we're like, oh, that does sound kind of good.
And then what happens
we all will start playing for like a month. And then we'll spend like $60 on the new expansion. We'll spend all this money on the thing. And then we'll play for like a month or two. And really what we'll only do is we'll play for like a week. But we'll keep our accounts running for the next like 3 months thinking
this is what happens. Ash is like, we're all going to play. We're all going to start new characters. He plays, seriously, he is the slowest fucking guy ever. Well, we'll be at level 20 and he's still
is what happened last time,
mining at level 7 or 10. I'm just like, Ash, you gotta keep up.
To be fair, Jasmine does the other side. Where Jasmine says, I will make a character and we will play it all together. Yeah. And then what that means is we will play it all together until one of us quits playing tonight, and then Jasmine will continue to play as that character.
Okay, well,
and then later we're like,
I agree. I agree.
Then she'll make yet another character, catch it up to that point, and then by the time you get on, you're like, hey, you want to go do a dungeon? And she'll be like, oh, I'm not a medic anymore because I got my healer up to like level 60 overnight, but I'll give you a level 10 warlock.
Here's one thing. When I did get back into WoW last time, our friend Lyle also got back into WoW. Right. Unfortunately, I have to like keep up with him.
No, Lyle is someone you can't keep up with.
No, you can't.
You got to build an alt to keep up with Lyle.
No,
he
builds an alt to keep with us.
Her main is his alt because his main is like at max level in a day, and so she tries to keep up with his alt. And then
it drags the rest of us up.
She makes an alt just to keep up with my slow ass, basically.
So we're going to have 30 new characters, none of whom I want to play as. But I'm just going to headbutt all of you. But all I want to be is a Tauren Druid. That's the only thing I've ever wanted to be.
Yeah, hard for life.
And you always make me fight over who I get to play the Tauren Druid with. I have like 10 druids. Who needs 10 druids?
There's garrisons now, Price.
I want to headbutt you so hard.
I had no idea what a garrison is. This is how far I've removed myself.
I have not even looked. I have
No,
Prairie Home Companion.
you can make your own forts now, kind of. Yeah.
Don't.
See, I
saw that look in your eye. Rick, no! Rick's got the itch!
And like you can customize them to be like a barracks and something else, and like by
barracks, a barracks. Huh?
This is how it's it. This is it.
This is the new Team Rash series. Right?
That barracks.
It's just gonna be World of
That barracks gives this bear an itch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. I have cleaned myself up. I've decidedly never to go back.
So in about a month, when you guys see World of Warcraft stuff showing up on the channel, you know whose fault it is.
Well, in a similar vein, I was saying I saw that trailer for Eve. Last night, and I was like, I want to play Eve.
I have
now.
no idea
I
how
want to play Eve now.
I played it for a little while in the old.
I love
It's never what you remember. I played last time I really was into Eve was before I got married, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the day before I got married, the night before I got married.
I canceled my account.
Well, no, Mel did like the traditional thing, which apparently the bride to be stays the night like separate from the
Yeah.
So me and my buddy Matt just stayed up all night playing Eve.
I thought you were going to leave this up. We did the traditional deleting of the account.
No, but I mean, it's been that long, and that was almost 9 years ago, and it'll never be the same.
Hey, I love
nothing's like that first hit, you know.
I love the idea of what you can accomplish in
Chasing that first
Eve. You know, what you can accomplish in Eve is breathtaking.
But it takes years.
It will take years to be able to get anything that can be incredible.
But it is incredible.
Yeah,
yeah,
it really is.
Mm-hmm. I want nothing to do with it.
And then the heartbreak is you can lose that incredible thing in an instant.
Yeah, the idea of it sounds amazing. You guys were talking about some guy infiltrated this like huge place and killed the leader.
He spent a year.
It was several people. So it was one of the opposing corporations. They sent these spies into their rival corporation, and they spent a year infiltrating this corporation before they killed the leader and then made off with $16,000 worth of real world money.
Yeah.
Real world goods.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
They do convert that currency into real world, and it's ridiculous. Like,
because you can use ISK to pay for, I mean, it has real world value.
Because remember, and then there was also that huge like raid against like that giant ship. How much was it actually worth?
I think it was like I think that one was like around 4,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The Titans.
Yeah.
Go look that stuff up on YouTube. That stuff's insane.
It's insane. Go check out the newest Eve trailer because it really will make you want to play it, and then you'll remember that it takes 1,000 hours to
But it's
do
pretty.
anything.
But it's pretty when you're doing it.
Yeah,
it's a good chill game when you just chill out and you're just mining fucking asteroids.
I get too frustrated. Like the first time I lost a ship in that game, I was just like, rage quit. I'm done. Never. And that was only like after a couple of hours. I was just like, nope.
Yeah. You just go into a zero sector and get the shit kicked out of you.
Jazz, how about you? Anything new?
Besides starting a new job, I've been having a hard time playing games, but I have started up Don't Starve Again, which is fun. I love that game.
Yeah, you've been wanting to play it for a while.
I do. I really want to get in the Don't Starve together. I just don't know how exactly it works.
Yeah.
Me and Ash were talking about it. Ash thinks that you can play 4 players. If someone could tell us exactly. Because I just can't be bothered to look it up.
We're going to do one of those things that people do in the comments where they're just going to be like, hey, how do you do this?
Well, I mean, on top of that, it's been really hard because I had a lot of free time and all of a sudden it's just like it's gone. So, and then Ash bought the PlayStation 4. You guys will see it soon. There's going to be a lot of Big Planet out.
Yeah, by the time that this episode's out, you probably have already seen some Little Big Planet, some Sports Friends.
Yeah, good stuff. That's true. Little Big Planet's been kind of like on my mind this week and caused a purchase of a whole lot of things.
It's super fun.
So every day when I come home, Ash is like, do you want to play some Little Big Planet? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yes, I do.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's cute. You guys
it's really
play
cute.
video games together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my week.
Adorable.
I'm looking forward to this PS4 business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun with a capture card and everything. It's a whole new world for Stumpt.
You guys we just unlocked a whole new world for YouTube, you guys. A whole new genre of video game
avenue
for you guys to watch.
That's right.
Yeah, anybody else got anything to contribute? Any exciting weekly news?
I did not have breakfast tacos this week.
I'm glad that you got this filled in, though.
Yeah. But
you did buy some really good jalapeno mango sausages
that we've been putting into some scrambled eggs for breakfast.
It's gonna be eggs.
Really good.
Super good.
That sounds pretty good.
And I had some breakfast burritos this week, but not the same as breakfast tacos.
It destroyed you.
I'm sorry.
should not eat breakfast burritos before
I
work.
really should.
Yeah. He's just like
Always.
just like tranquilized bear. Just
Flawless bear.
thank you.
All right, then let's go ahead and head into.
Hey everybody, it's the Marvel Minute!
Alrighty, so for this week's Marvel Minute, we don't have as much news as we've had in the past few weeks with all the big Comic-Con style like releases of like, hey, here's a million movies that are coming out in the next couple days, right? But what we do know is we've gotten a couple of little things that have popped up. So the first thing, and Rick will link a picture of this in the description, is some concept art for the villain of Ant-Man has leaked. So Corey Stoll, who I talked about, I think in a previous podcast, is playing Darren Cross, I believe is his name, and he's sort of the villain of the Ant-Man movie, and he's playing also this character called Yellow Jacket, who in the comics was just an alternate kind of role for Ant-Man. It's like when he's sort of being a different person. It's kind of like Hawkeye is sometimes Ronin. There are these characters who sometimes they take on different monikers. But in this one, Yellow Jacket is going to be a full-on villain. So the suit looks super cool. It's like a very kind of like high-tech, you know, it has a helmet similar to Ant-Man, but it's a little more militaristic. And then it's got these kind of almost like Dr. Octopus style like spikes on it that look like they can, you know, come out and sting you and stuff.
Yeah.
So looks pretty cool. Really awesome to see just some new artwork and new designs in kind of a new universe, because a lot of what we've seen over the past few years has been, you know, iterations on Iron Man, iterations on Captain America. And so it's nice to see like a whole new character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, because the Guardians of the Galaxy, lots of cool stuff, but at the same time, they're all a bunch of different aliens wearing the same suit. Right? Wasn't that dynamic? So seeing kind of like a new design and a new suit is pretty cool, and of a character that not too many people are familiar with.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is to like look at the Yellow Jacket new costume and compare it to the one in the comics, because it's funny how like they took certain elements and incorporated it, but in a cool way, because you know, you look at any old comic book, and a lot of times it looks like a dude running around in underwear, right? And so that's been a big struggle for these movies, is figuring out how to make those things look cool and realistic, but also match the comic. And so, like, those big stinger things, they kind of take the place of these giant, stupid shoulder ridges that Yellow Jacket had. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
And then beyond that, there are a list of actors and actresses who are apparently in the running for the roles of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage in the upcoming Netflix series. So we talked about Daredevil a little bit in the past,
Right.
and that one's already, you know, well under production. They'll probably wrap filming soon, and we're going to get to see it early next year on Netflix all at once, which is going to be great. But so then they're working on the next set of series that'll either be coming out in the following fall or possibly a year after, so in the winter of 2016. And so that's going to be Jessica Jones. So the 4 actresses who are up for the role, or actually I think there's 5 now. It is Kristen Ritter, who some may know from Breaking Bad as Jesse's girlfriend in, I think, like the 2nd season. Alexandra Daddario, who you probably only would know her from True Detective as the mistress of Woody Harrelson's character. Teresa Palmer, who was the star of Warm Bodies. And Jessica DeGo, who's in Arrow and plays the Huntress. And then there's another actress. Her name is Marin Ireland. She's from something called The Divide. I'm not familiar with that. But if you listen to all these names, and if you look at the pictures of the actresses and you kind of recognize them, they're all kind of in the same tier of, they've been in some things that you've seen. You might not recognize them too well. I think Kristen Ritter's the one I've probably seen in the most things. But overall, I feel like, yeah, they could all probably do a pretty serviceable job from what I've seen of their work. We'll see who floats to the top.
Sure.
Being familiar with the Jessica Jones character, is there any candidate that you think would best?
Looking at them and like just from like, you know, usually what you do when you're judging this kind of stuff is you judge it on like visual, right? Because it's like, I don't know really how Jessica Jones acts, but I feel like Alexandra Daddario really looks the part, and Jessica DeGo also, I think, could do a pretty good job. The big thing is that since Jessica Jones is kind of this like super strength, kind of big tough kind of character, I feel like she needs to have more of an imposing presence. She kind of needs to be tall and strong looking, and some of these actresses are a little more thin and fragile looking, and so it doesn't necessarily match. Now her power comes from like radioactive waste or something like that. So you can make it fit with any build, right? But it just kind of feels like you want
power comes from radioactive waste.
She gets into some accident.
Isn't that the exact same way that Daredevil does?
Yeah. I don't remember if it's radioactive waste or if it's some other. But it is something like that. She gets into an accident and then
they might do a Chris Evans on her where they give her like a whole new body.
Maybe.
And they just put her head on it.
But the thing is, Chris Evans had to actually do that work, you know?
Well, I know, but like they'll be the same thing.
Sure.
But you know, like from
but then they'd have to CG that in every episode.
It would be the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she would have to actually get physically large in real life.
Oh, I thought this was a movie.
No. These are for the Netflix series.
Okay.
So I doubt they would spend that kind of money. So
okay, sorry, I thought this was a movie.
No.
Keep up, Jasmine.
Come on, pay attention. So
we're just talking.
We're moving on. So Luke Cage. So that's the other big character, and he's another superpowered character. He gets his power from a version of the super soldier serum, like Captain America. So he could actually follow this almost the same thing of starting out with like a CG skinny body and getting big. And the actors that are up for that are Cleo Anthony, who's on the show Transparent.
Which one is he? Is he the brother on that show?
I don't think so. I've never watched the show, so I
never either.
He would have to be.
You
got to watch Transparent.
Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these actors. And then Lance Gross, who's from something called Crisis, and Mike Coulter, who is from Halo Nightfall. And so,
wait, by something from Crisis, the video game?
No. So
I was going to say, if we're going Halo.
It's a show called Crisis, yeah. But again, they're all actors who...
The Halo one, that is like that really bad miniseries on Halo. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Or is it's the new one, I think.
That's like directed by Steven Spielberg, I think, or something. It's supposed to be all
bad for a movie.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it looks kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. But anyway, so these actors, none of them jump out as being someone that like you've seen before and like you really want them in the role. They're not the kinds of like level of like, oh, I want to see them on screen with Robert Downey Jr. They're all kind of in that stage of like, we have no idea how well they're going to be. I don't really have any opinion on really any of them one way or the other, but it's exciting to know that they're moving forward and just to be like looking forward to what's gonna pop up in the next, few months as they start to like release maybe character art and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm super excited for what these series are going to have in store for us, and definitely go check out the show notes on the blog so you can see the pictures of Yellow Jacket's costume, because that was probably like the coolest thing that's popped up.
Yeah, that
in a
will
long
be
time.
there.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, and that's it for the Marvel Minute.
Another one in the can. All right, so for our topic today, I figured let's play a game.
All right.
Okay. Hey.
I kickstarted this game called the Metagame like last year sometime, and as part of the bonus, I got a free PDF of the video game Metagame. Pretty cool. So basically the way that works, it's kind of Cards Against Humanity in the way that we each get dealt cards, and somebody is the judge. I'll start out as the judge. I'm going to flip a card. It'll have a topic on it. And you guys each have 5 cards in your hand. Everybody's got 5 cards. Each one of the cards has a video game on it. Correct? Okay, so let's just get into it. The first topic is, which is more tragic?
Which is more
Now,
tragic?
everybody plays a card they think that is the more tragic video game, and I will be the judge. But everybody has to make a case for their game that they play. So whoever makes the best case
is
will
the
win
winner.
the round.
Okay. This is really tough, actually, of the ones that I have. I don't have any great ones.
Yeah.
Do we put them in, or do I just hold on to it and then I make my case then?
Nope, put it down.
Put it down?
Because, I mean,
doing it.
Okay.
you're going to defend it, so it's not going to be
So everybody's
going to
know who did what. So should I go ahead and flip it over, or what?
Yeah, you flip it
Okay.
over. It's not a secret.
I just got one of the silliest cards in the world.
And tragic is, this is subjective.
Subjective. That's fine.
You ready?
Subjective. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So which
All right.
is the most tragic?
Okay, we've got Jasmine played Pac-Man.
I sure did.
Ash played Counter-Strike. And, Price played Civilization 3.
Yep.
All right, he's playing on my heartstrings. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Jasmine, since she's sitting on my left.
I feel like Pac-Man is really tragic because basically you are this little yellow cube or like circle.
Cube.
Sorry.
You're already off to a bad start.
Basically, you're just in the game eating little pellet balls and being chased by ghosts.
Yeah.
And it just never stops. That just seems tragic to me.
So it always ends in a loss? Is that what you're saying?
And then either, I don't know. I don't even know how you win because I've never won the game. You either just continue eating or you die. So that sounds pretty tragic to me.
Continue eating or die. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
is pretty
solid case.
Because, you could eat the Powerballs, but all you're ended up doing is just killing your captors, and they're just going to come right back at you.
That's true.
That's true. There is a lot of dread there. Although I would say maybe it's empowering that the eating, which you're doing constantly, also can be your salvation, right? That's how you can fight back against your captors, right?
True, but
so
it never ends.
I don't know. It doesn't sound very
It just seems tragic because it never ends.
That's
true.
I don't know.
Just like life, huh?
Yep.
Life's tragic, you guys.
Oh, no, see, I think Civilization 3 is the most tragic of these three because it's a representation of kind of the horrors of history and colonization and all of these things of cultures coming together. This is what the whole game is about, right? Every civilization has always been about the same thing. You start out, you have this dream, you have this goal of building up this empire, right? Mm-hmm. You want to do the best that you can for your people. You want to go out and find all the greatest resources and everything like that. And then what happens? You meet someone else.
Yeah.
They want it too. And what do? You have to become the monster that you never wanted to be in order to win. Because guess what? No matter how peaceful you try and be, no matter how good you try to be, eventually, Gandhi's going to hit you with a nuke. All right? So you have to eventually turn to warfare of some form in order to succeed. The game is all about conquering other people, subjecting other people below your feet. There's a tragedy in there that represents some of the worst of humanity, and I think
Unless
that
you're on the top.
is what's terrible.
Unless you're on the top.
Hey, if you're at the top, there's a whole bunch of bodies below you. All right.
Ash, how
Some good cases.
Those are all horrible arguments. My argument for Counter-Strike is that it's a tragedy because I'm bad at it.
That is really tragic.
That's the real life tragedy.
That's really I don't have a huge argument for it other than I'm bad at it. And the only other thing I could come up with for tragedy for it, because it is the best option that I have out of these cards, is that its community is just the fucking worst. Like, you could make some arguments that, like, the MOBA community may, like, spam
Ash is
racial
going to
slurs.
war. Ash is going to war.
You can make some arguments that MOBA communities will, like, spam racial slurs at you more, but the Counter-Strike community are the ones that will actually call SWAT teams at your house.
This is true.
And swat you.
This is true.
That's why I don't play anymore.
That's
Thank
messed
God
up.
I missed that trend.
Yeah, that was a
Ooh. Okay.
That dark note.
You know what? There were some good arguments made. You know what, though? Because it was such a simple game, but you made such a strong case, I'm going to give it to Pac-Man.
Damn it!
Pac-Man!
Pac-Man is the most
job,
tragic.
Jazz. Good
All
job.
right.
I did it.
Oh man.
So you keep that card since you won.
Do I keep this card?
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna keep that. I think I'm gonna keep the actual question card.
There you go. Okay.
That one's my trophy.
Everybody, make sure you still
the
have
wrong one.
5 cards in your hand, and
Yep.
we'll go
My turn.
clockwise. So you get to be the judge this time, Jess.
All right. Which has made more players cry, guys?
Ooh, should have kept that counter card.
Oh, I got a good one for this. I think.
You think? Do you think, or do you know?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Will it make me cry?
It might. I think it might have. I think this game might have made you cry.
I know Final Fantasy X made me cry.
Play Donkey Kong.
Eco.
Eco.
Ooh.
Never played it.
Oh, you never played it? That's fine. That's okay. Have you played Shadow of the Colossus?
Windwalker.
That's fine.
I did.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay.
Wind Waker.
Wind
Please.
Waker.
Come on.
I have to
Speak
hear.
words.
I have to hear why Donkey Kong's gonna make me cry.
Donkey Kong's gonna make you cry because have you ever played Donkey Kong?
I have.
This game's fucking hard as hell, okay? I watched The King of Kong, which is a fantastic documentary, and everybody should watch it, and Steve Wiebe made it look so easy. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna fucking play this shit, right? Played it at ground control. I can't get past the first board. I can't get to
I will give you this. Those controls are so worn down over time. Because even I've tried playing. I've even played Dr. Mario there, and I am really good at Dr. Mario, and I cannot get past the first level.
And it's not just that. You don't remember how slow the buttons were in those older games. You know, honestly, there's a huge delay from the time you jump to the. So you have to take that into consideration as you're playing this game. I wanted to try to just get the highest score at ground control. Now, of course, I couldn't compete with Steve Wiebe's score. No. I couldn't get past the first board, and I wasted so many quarters in this game.
Yeah.
You need to go on the free night.
It's a
then you
tough
can
game.
have it.
It's a tough game.
Hey, Ground Control Portland, hit us up with that collab.
We'll stream that on the channel, and it's just Rick just constantly dying, hitting flaming
knowing that
barrels.
I'll never get past that first stage because I'm terrible at Donkey Kong. It makes me want to cry.
You obviously never played Donkey Kong 64 because to get all of the bananas, one of them is you have to play through the original Donkey Kong and beat it all the way through.
No, I played
one
the
full
Donkey
map.
Kong on the Super Nintendo like a decent person.
All right, Price, tell me about
Eco. All right. So Eco or Ico. So,
Ico.
People pronounce it sometimes differently. But essentially what this whole game centers around is you play, I don't remember what the hero's name is. He has a little horn helmet on and everything like that. And you have Yorda, who is this girl.
Is his name not Ico?
It might be Ico. Yeah. It might be, yeah. But because, he never talks. And so, but you have Yorda, who's this character who you essentially have to escort through the entire game as like she's the person you're trying to protect and to save. And so there's all these monsters and all these things coming around all the time. And you constantly have to keep her in mind. And I've heard stories from people before where they talk about the way that game was built, the way that it was structured was so good at getting you to really care about Yorda. Like you really would, like she would like call out to you and all these things. And so you felt compelled, like you had to go and help her. And so it's just, you're constantly having your heartstrings pulled. And it's much in the vein of, because you have played Shadows of the Colossus, you can remember all those cinematics, how those things felt. Remember when he's like looking for his horse and all that? Like those feelings, that's exactly what came out of Ico. It was that same experience of going through these dark and dreary environments, and like you're kind of fighting against all comers of evil from every direction, and all you have is this person that you're holding their hand, right?
I'm gonna help you in an unconventional move here.
Go ahead.
Make a stronger case for your game.
Let's see if it pulls off.
Okay. And this game, it really pulls at your heartstrings too, because the reason why Ico is in that castle is because he's cast out of his community because he was born with horns, because he was an abomination. So they cast him into this castle, and he finds Yorda, and she's actually a ghost.
Is she a ghost, really?
She's a ghost, and you're trying to save her. You're trying to get her out of the castle. However, there are these dark spirits that are trying to pull her down, like basically take her soul away. So you have to fend them off to keep her from being, because this is like the only person that you have a connection with, because you've been cast out from your.
They're all alone.
There's this really sad story that goes into the game as well. It's worth a play.
I know Ash really liked it.
Yeah.
But Ash,
Loved it.
Thanks for helping me out, Rick.
Ash, tell me about Wind Waker.
No, I've never played it.
I couldn't tell when you called it Windwalker.
But I assume that you've cried at most of Zelda games. So.
I'll help you out, Ash. Let's share around here. So Wind Waker was a game that when that came out, they completely reshuffled and changed the way that Zelda looked, right? Which they've done several times throughout the lifetime of Zelda. But this went from the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, where people were like, we're getting more intense. We're getting more real. This is becoming a darker Zelda, right? And then they said, no, let's flip it. Let's go GameCube. Let's make it pretty. Let's make it this cartoony style. And so I think that the kind of tears that you would get from this, the kind of thing that would make you cry in this game is not from the sadness or the tragedy, but it's from kind of the beauty of it. When I remember playing it for the first time, I remember the boats, like going out across the ocean and feeling that feeling of exploration and just kind of smiling through it the whole way through. And so you'd get those kinds of tears. The tears of joy, where you're like, this is a game. This is an experience. I want to live in this world. I want to be a part of this world.
That's why I love Zelda games, because they're just such an experience.
And so I think this captures the wonder. This is the different kind of tears. Where what Rick and I talked about are tears of sadness and anguish, and what Ash I think would be talking about here is tears of happiness and joy, that excitement, the stuff that you want.
Sure.
It wasn't a good.
I could go on about Ico for like another hour.
That's why I'm choosing Ico. That's why I'm choosing Ico, because you guys both made a really good argument for it. I do remember watching Ash play Ico like crazy.
Ico's amazing. That team is fucking incredible.
Oh, and I cannot wait until The Last Guardian comes out, which is
I was thinking
10
about
or 15 years
Seriously,
of development.
I remember hearing about it for PlayStation 3.
At launch.
Yeah, it's something that they keep on working. I think the problem is that at this point, I think they're probably so far behind the 8 ball in terms of having to keep rebuilding the engine that it will eventually come out. But by that time, it like the core idea, because again, it was one of these like companionship things, but you're a small character with this giant, kind of like dragon feathered dog thing.
It's like the Neverending Dragon.
It's like but the thing is, I think like by that time, maybe that won't be as novel or crucial as an idea. We've had more games that have come out with that kind of a concept. One that I mentioned before on the last podcast was about this game called Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, and it was another example. And if I didn't, go look it up. It was another game that came out where it was you play as this one like small character, and you have this big like ogre guy who's your partner, and you switch back and forth, and you use each other in different ways. And so it's this concept that I think people have been using. And so the further that The Last Guardian gets away from that, the less exciting it's going to be when it finally comes out.
They just need to do it.
It sounds like another Duke Nukem that's happening.
And then again, I will say, they are kind of like the team that's like Miyazaki, where it's like they're so beautiful and so well put together and so well written that it could be that, it doesn't matter. Give them 20, 30 years and it'll still come out and be amazing. So who knows?
Yeah.
All right, I'll pull my card.
It's relevant again.
All right, let's see. Which is more relaxing? Oh, this is good. I like relaxing games. I really like relaxing games. Okay. I should probably pull another card for my... Since I'm not.
There's only one card in here, and I don't think any of you guys played it. So let's pull another card.
Going with the old Sim City.
Ooh. Okay. It's just so everybody knows, it's the classic Sim City.
I go Mass Effect.
But you can do anyone from the series. I think.
City,
yeah, go ahead and do anyone from the city. Okay. Oh, this is a good set. So,
Katamari, SimCity, and Mass Effect.
From Ash, we have Katamari Damacy. From Rick, we have SimCity. And from Jazz, we have Mass Effect. I want to start with Rick. I want to hear what you have to say about SimCity being relaxing.
SimCity is relaxing because there's really no goal in SimCity. There's no real end game. You start from nothing. Right? You just got this plot of land and you're like, okay, what am I going to build? And anything you can envision, you can build. Yes, there are natural disasters that come by and kind of destroy your city sometimes, and you have to kind of fix that up and stuff, but there's no impending doom, really, there's no dying and starting over again and not being able to beat a certain point of the game, it's linear game that sort of like it ends when you want it to end, so you could, and there's no time limit either. Say you have an hour to spare, then you can just like have an hour-long experience with SimCity and still feel fulfilled afterwards,
Okay. Jasmine's been wanting to talk.
I want to say something. I want to say, I want to take that and be like the reaction part. For me, SimCity, I'm not very good at it, and every single time I play the game, I'm always bombarded with Mayor. We're running out of funds. There's whites go rioting.
That's only in the newest one, though.
No, in the older ones, you would actually run out of funds. You would have riots. You would have to put down, police, to stop the riots. For some reason, I never understood how to actually build a fully functioning city that actually renews itself.
Sure.
I'm always borrowing from bonds to the point where it's just not relaxing anymore because I'm trying to plug in all these leaks. And there's too many holes.
So you'd rather play Mass Effect where you're being shot at by aliens, right?
My version of relaxing is it's not just the aliens, it's also the dialogue and interacting with your party. Sure. That's very relaxing to me because I really enjoyed the RPG side effect of it. And another part of it that's really relaxing to me, besides just making dialogues and actually learning about the other characters, is that I think it was Mass Effect 2 or 3, when you were actually looking for, you're actually mining other planets.
I was going to support your argument there that the mini games in Mass Effect, I think 2 and 3, actually 1, 2, and 3 all had mini games.
One you had the rover.
One you had the rover where you just went down.
Which was boring. The second one
you shot the little pods.
And that was... Yeah, and you were scanning across them. I did that a lot.
You can call it relaxing, or you can call it boring. I guess some people think that's the same thing.
It's true.
So, Ash, you guys have anything else you want to say about Mass Effect or SimCity?
SimCity's more relaxing.
Okay. Ash, how about Katamari Damacy?
My argument for Katamari Damacy is la 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 la.
You know what? If I had that card for the what has made people shed more tears, and Ash was the judge, I know for a fact he would have picked Katamari Damacy. I've heard you talk about that song before.
The story.
Yeah.
The story with the king and how he meets his wife and how they have that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, similar to SimCity, while you have goals in Katamari Damacy, you don't have to follow them at all.
That's true.
All you have to do is just get your ball bigger.
You just have to get your ball bigger. And in the meantime, if you roll up a bunch of penguins, it's cool.
Yeah, but sometimes the king is mean to you, and he's like, I guess it's an okay plan.
That is true.
Sometimes your citizens are mean to you.
But what about endless mode, where you can just go the entire way?
That's true. What's worse, the scorn of your citizens or the scorn of your father?
I feel like there's a trend going on now.
There's a theme
going on tonight.
Running through all of our videos.
You will see this in a video eventually.
Yeah. Rick says some things. All right, I have to go with Katamari. I'm sorry. I liked your guys' cases. I think you guys make great cases, but Katamari really is one of the most relaxing games I've
I'm
ever
gonna say, out of the choices I've had, besides Pokemon, which I just pulled, none of them are very relaxing at all.
I've never played.
All right. Katamari Damacy.
Which one's that one?
It's time for Ash.
I've never played that one.
Anyway,
pull your
card,
games
Ash.
are old, and we can just discard the ones we don't know. Some of them are very old Atari games.
What takes longer to appreciate?
Oh,
Oh boy.
I'm putting down the Pokemon card.
Gosh, I have nothing on this one.
It's true.
My goodness. This is a tricky one. All right, I got nothing on this. Oh no, this one.
All right, so for which takes longer to appreciate, we have
Jasmine put down Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I put down Dance Dance Revolution. And Rick put down Parappa the Rapper.
Parappa the Rapper.
That is one game I still not played either.
Yeah?
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I didn't have a PlayStation until very late.
All right. I want to hear Price's argument about DVR.
Okay. So, Dance Dance Revolution. You guys may not know this. I played it a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, I played it a lot,
I owned
too.
some pads. I was a fan. And so, the thing about Dance Dance Revolution, I think, is that from the outside, when you look at people playing it, it does not look like something that you want to be a part of. You're like, what is this stupid thing? People are jumping around like fools. This is ridiculous, okay? And then when you play it for the first time, when you finally have that friend or a couple of friends who pressure you, they're like, no, come on, you'll like it. You play it, and you do terribly. Right? And you don't really enjoy it that much. But there's a piece there. There's something in there that makes you kind of go, I want to get better, right? I want to do, I want to improve my skill. I want to come to know this game. I want to understand it. And as you play more and more and more of Dance Dance Revolution, you suddenly realize, like, as you get to those higher difficulty levels, you're enjoying the hell out of yourself. You get so good at landing those moves at the right time, jumping and hitting the combos, doing all these kinds of different moves, learning all the super fast songs, unlocking all of the other parts in the game because they have all these unlockable songs and stages and whatnot. And so by the time, you've reached that point, once you've gotten past those kind of early barriers, which are kind of this like societal outside pressure, once you really break into it, it's a ton of fun. It really is one of those games that, like, you can make fun of it all you want. Like when I said I played Dance Dance Revolution, we heard a couple giggles, right?
Because from 3 people.
Yeah, because
I played the shit out of it too.
But Jazz knows, and it's a lot of fun playing that game. So I
would skip school to go play that game.
I think it really is. It's one of those games that it takes a while.
I do not think you should appreciate a game where you skip school to play it. You're throwing away your education for Dance Dance Revolution.
High school is over.
All right, Jazz, let me hear your argument for Pokemon.
Pokemon, Ash, I'm gonna kind of reach into that Final Fantasy football, your fantasy football phase. Pokemon is a game where you start with one Pokemon. And, you get it from this clueless grandfather, Professor Oak. Anyways, you start with one Pokemon. And then you slowly build up a team. And then you keep making that team. You keep making them as best you can. You level them up. You give them special moves. You improve their scores, their stats, like their defense, hit points, all that stuff. And you just keep going and going, and you keep fighting more people. And, what's at the very end? You're king of the world. And once you're king of the world, of course you're going to appreciate it. And then next thing you know, they put out another Pokemon game. And you do it all over again. And just over time, you really appreciate how fun it is.
I think but I would argue it can be made for a lot of different video games, and I don't think that Pokemon stands on its own.
I was gonna say I would say that with Pokemon, I would say that no, it's enjoyable from the beginning. You start playing that game and it's fun. Like it's fun right off the bat.
I'm just saying it's more fun when you actually have a choice of your team.
Okay.
Like when you start, you only start with like either water, grass, fire.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And then you're bombarded with a.
You appreciate it more perhaps over time, but it wouldn't take you longer necessarily to appreciate.
Well, I'm just saying you appreciate it more because in the very beginning you start with just a shit ton of normal Pokemon. And these are like the garbage kind of Pokemon. These are the ones that you don't really want.
Fucking Pidgey.
And
How many
then
Pidgeys
you eventually
have I
get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm capturing Mew. I'm capturing Mewtwo. I have like legendaries in my team. I can go out and I can capture a fucking ghost.
Sure.
And I'm gonna put that team in my team, and he's gonna destroy all the psychic Pokemon. You know, it's awesome. I love
all right,
Pokemon.
Sure, fair enough.
I want to hear about Parappa the Rapper.
All right. Parappa the Rapper. Okay. I remember when Parappa the Rapper came out, 2000, right? Is that what it? 96. Holy shit.
96. Oh yeah.
I remember playing it back in 2000, but this game came out in 96, and nobody knew what Parappa the Rapper was at that time. No. It was a very unique game at that time, and I think that everybody now knows what Parappa the Rapper is. Mm-hmm. Not only is it a blast to play, but the songs are catchy as hell, and they stick in your brain.
Sure.
Everybody knows kick, punch. It's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I'm sure you'll find. Come on. He's a singing chestnut, and his head's all steamy and stuff. And the game, at first, you're just pushing buttons, right? You're mashing the buttons, like kick. And you
rhythm
push
game,
the kick.
Yeah.
It's a rhythm game, exactly. And if you just hold to the exact rhythm, then it's kind of tough. And then you realize, oh, I can kind of make my own song. So like if he says kick, you go kick, 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 kick. And so like there's a little bit of innovation that goes on in the game that you start to discover, and you start to make your own song out of the songs, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, so
for the podcast, I want you to take a picture of this.
It's kind of inappropriate. Parappa the Rapper is smoking a blunt and drinking a 40.
That's quite the image.
None of these pictures are like.
I will say, I do like your point of saying that like this is a very meta view of it, saying that it took gaming culture a while to appreciate Parappa the Rapper.
This game came out in 96. That's almost 20 years ago now.
And now you guys can go buy on the PlayStation Network. You can go play the PlayStation All-Stars. Parappa's a character in there. You can play as Parappa because they now recognize his value as a character. But he had a tough road.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Well, based off of these three and the arguments I've heard, I'm going to go with DDR.
Yeah! Yeah! Nice.
Parappa should have had it.
It certainly took me a while to appreciate that one.
Yes! I did not know that you had actually ever appreciated it, so it's good to know.
All right, let's see if we can get one more round each out of the way. We've got
we can probably go
through it.
Yeah.
All right. Which goes better with champagne and caviar?
Oh, my goodness.
What? How's that even a question?
That is, this is going to be an interesting one.
Which one is the most highbrow?
You're looking at your games like you're going to play a card.
All right, I'm putting down Nintendogs.
Oh,
guys.
I'm just considering which I would play if I
Nintendogs. I put down Myst.
No, I can't.
Yeah, it's kind of a highbrow game, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of think of this as being highbrow.
Yeah, I'm putting down
It's a
Nintendogs.
thinker.
All right, what you got, Ash?
I don't know.
Pick one.
Nothing goes.
Pick one.
Then
You just have to be able to argue well.
Fine. Oregon Trail, bitches.
Dude, let him go last. I want to hear this.
Fair enough.
All right,
then I'll go clockwise. Jasmine, start us off. Nintendogs.
What goes better with champagne and caviar? Pure breed Nintendogs. They're purebred. You can get a fucking Dalmatian. You can get a poodle. That shit is perfect.
That's
and
the
then
most
all you're
high
doing, you're just sitting on the couch. You could be lounging on your whatever that thing is called. It's like a what is it?
Chaise lounge?
Chaise
A
lounge.
lounge.
With your champagne and caviar, and you could be playing fetch with your purebred poodle. Drinking your champagne, and you could just be petting it.
I gotta say, I think that's the pure breed angle. That is true. It is very much
That's a good angle.
Yeah.
I like your angle.
Oh man.
And you can also name your dog, and they will remember it.
Yeah.
And then you can call to it because the DS actually has a little microphone sensor.
And because they spent 3 years in doggy training school.
I remember
paid thousands.
You would blow on the
for.
sensor, and the dog would be like,
You can call Alexandra. Fetch.
His name is Excelsior.
And then on top of that, you could buy accessories. And I imagine there's diamond bling accessories for your dog.
there better be.
Sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
how you going to beat that one, Bryce.
All right. Well, Myst, I think we can all say Myst is one of those heralded games that's kind of held up as being a really great example of kind of the adventure genre. Mm-hmm. And a big part about it was it had some of the most tough as nails puzzles ever.
Sure did.
That all require an amazing amount of patience and intellect to figure out. And so I remember when I played Myst, but even more so our friend Lyle, who has talked about this a number of times, having this big tome. He had this big book of which, he would write down like all of the pieces, all the bits of information. This is not something that you can just dive into and have a quick fun afternoon. This is something that requires effort and work, and it requires for you to have the patience and knowledge and know how to go about it. And so I think the champagne caviar angle of it is that with it being such a highbrow kind of thing to break into, that it requires you to kind of have that kind of high-class view of yourself. And when you come out the other side, you look down on all other gamers who have never played Myst because they do not have what you have.
Would you say it's an acquired taste?
Oh, yeah.
Up-high.
Jasmine, nail it at home.
Good job.
So that's Myst. It makes you better than everyone else.
Ash, blow 'em away. Oregon Trail. Come on.
All right.
Take it home.
I want you to picture this.
Okay. I got my eyes closed. I'm picturing this.
You're sitting, in your lounge room. Your butler is bringing you your champagne and your caviar.
Yes.
And you're thinking, what kind of entertainment do I want for myself? Being a very well-to-do, wealthy man. What every wealthy man wants to do, he wants to get his entertainment from the people living in the most poverty-stricken fucking environment in the world, dying of dysteria.
I want to go slumming it, guys.
No. I think the argument you made is, I want to hunt some buffalo.
No. This is a rich man trying to get his entertainment off of the lessers, and I think all rich men can relate to that.
Oh, if people can see my face right now.
Have you seen Django Unchained? Because Ash is Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ash just got very social.
Yeah.
The proletariat. The man's taking advantage of the proletariat.
Wow.
You know what?
Ash wins. Ash wins.
And I'm just going to say that until you spun it at the end of your argument there, Bryce, you were making it sound like this was a lot of work, which, again, is the working
Rich people
class.
don't do.
Come on.
Right. I was going
Rich
for the
people.
intellect. It's the intellectual. Yeah. Son of a bitch.
Equating being smart with being fancy.
I shouldn't. Jazz, are we going to do more?
Oh, yeah. We're going to do one more each.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Which is more culturally insensitive?
Oh, you missed the chance. You mean you won with Oregon Trail, but come on.
Oh, I'm missing one.
Oh boy.
I feel like Prey, even though I love it so much.
Well, I've got two cards that could possibly be
Gosh,
good.
I don't have much.
Does this game have a Custard's Last Stand?
Oh god, it probably does. It probably does. Oh, I got the perfect one, son of a bitch!
That's how it always
I just
is.
picked up a card. I'm just gonna say it out loud. I just picked up Far Cry 2. All right, that game is all about being like a foreigner who goes to Africa to kill Africans. It's
Far Cry
almost
3
as
is
bad.
just as bad.
No, all the Far Cries are just as bad. Oh, damn it!
Would you say Blood Dragon's the same?
Blood Dragon is not, because
Okay.
in that you're hunting robots.
They caught on in Far Cry 4 and made the character actually had
Of the-
links
yeah,
to
sure,
the land
sure.
that he goes to.
Oh man.
But it took them.
So I don't get to play Far Cry 2, but we all know that Far Cry 2 is the
I have
best
not played a single Far Cry. I'm going to put that out there right now.
It's okay. I could explain it to you and you'd agree.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Crabs.
Lemmings.
Lemmings.
Lemmings. Interesting. All right, Ash. Come on.
Come on,
Waiting on
Ash.
you again.
Fine.
Pitfall. Okay. These are going to be some interesting ones, I think.
Who do you want to go first?
Let's start with Price.
Okay. I played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. All right. The original
Oh man,
for the
I didn't
NES.
even see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so
I can see why now.
yeah, so if we can all remember, this part of this comes from back in the 80s, and I have recognized this in my, that I talked about earlier in the podcast, my jumping back into the WWF of the early 80s, or the late 80s and early 90s. People were really insensitive back then to things that had to do with cultural stereotypes. And a lot of the characters in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out that you play against look like very over-characterized examples of different cultures. You have the oversized features and all these kinds of things that really jump out as being nowadays. You go back and look at it, you go like, that's pretty insensitive.
Except for
But
Tyson. He's the only one.
Tyson's the only one. Well, I mean, yeah, he looks like Tyson.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, yeah, this just has all these examples of characters. I don't want to describe them too much, but that were very culturally insensitive. And it's just kind of a thing from a bygone era of, back not being aware of how insensitive these things were until it became more into the cultural understanding. And so I feel like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is just a good example of a snapshot of, hey, we've come a long way in gaming. We can't blame them and say that they didn't know, they didn't know back then, but we can look back on it and say that there were some insensitivities built into it. It's a representation of the culture.
You're going to tell me that King Hippo was not an accurate representation of
hippos?
I completely agree because, the first season of Sesame Street will never be PG for children.
Right.
Because during that time, they had different...
Like crazy. It was ridiculous. I don't know what was wrong with them. They were constantly saying the N-word.
Yeah, Elmo, Grover. But it is true. It is a different era.
Yeah.
And you can't...
Yeah.
You can't,
Yeah, you can't escape it. So that's why I think Mike Tyson's a good example.
All right, Rick, Lemmings.
Okay, so yes, you're speaking culturally of people. I'm speaking culturally of the animals. Nobody thinks about the animals. And these poor lemmings. This game is predicated on a fucking lie. Okay?
True.
This started from Disney's Animal Kingdom, where they were throwing lemmings off of cliffs, saying that if one lemming went, the rest would follow. They threw these poor animals off a cliff, and this myth still sticks to this day. People think that if one lemming goes off a cliff, the rest will follow, and that's this game. You're trying to prevent lemmings from falling off of cliffs, right? So you want them to follow you and take the right path, blah 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 blah. A game predicated on a goddamn lie. This is a stereotype that is stuck to this day. I'm an advocate. I'm a lemming advocate. This game is despicable. It's deplorable.
I think that's a good example. I think that was a very good argument.
It is, yeah. Ash?
All right, I want you to know I thought of the animals, okay? And I think that Pitfall represents an unfair representation of alligators. Okay? They paint them as all being aggressive. There's not a single fucking friendly alligator in the game.
And that they're appropriate footstools. That's another one.
That's right. Yeah. So that's my argument.
I'm going with lemmings.
Okay. That was good. Well done.
Yeah.
I can't believe I beat out
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That's some racist
Well,
shit.
I agree that lemmings. It was really sad because they scared the shit out of them over that cliff.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm playing mine.
Go ahead.
This episode's going to go long, but you guys.
Which is more responsible for the fraying of our moral fabric?
Oh,
man.
I've got it.
Can I play Far Cry 2? No. I love. By the way, I love the Far Cry games.
All right.
Putting down Pong.
All right.
Bam! Mortal Kombat.
Nice. All right. So Jazz played Pong, Rick played Mortal Kombat, and Ash played Duck Hunt. I am super excited to hear these. I want to say Mortal Kombat for last, so let's start with Jazz with Pong, moving over to Ash with Duck Hunt.
I'm going to say what has is responsible for the fraying of our moral fabric. Pong is like one of the very first video games.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Some would say it's the first video game.
I would say that. It also, it was the very first video game. We love it today.
Mm-hmm.
It's, that video game helped spawn Mortal Kombat and Duck Hunt.
Are you saying that video games are responsible for the fraying of our moral fabric?
Shots fired.
This is a slippery slope.
Shots fired.
I'm just saying, if we're going to blame anything, we should blame the very first one.
Jasmine, professional YouTuber and gamer extraordinaire.
Are you Catholic? Because I think you just made the argument for original sin.
You did. You did.
This question.
Pong is the serpent in the garden.
This question is making that leap, okay? Not Jasmine. This question, which you can only answer with video game titles, is making that leap.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
People have died for video games.
That's true.
They have stolen for video games.
Sure.
Yeah.
They've done the same thing for a lot of other things too.
Yeah.
And so you're saying that essentially because Pong started this, it's the most responsible.
I've had my accounts hacked.
Okay.
And Pong is responsible?
It started video games.
It started with Pong. Okay.
You wouldn't have had those
Fair
accounts
enough.
to begin with.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a dangerous argument. But okay.
All right.
Oh, man. It's like blaming cows for problems.
I'm also blaming my time sink in
cheeseburgers.
video games.
Okay.
I play video games all the time. I play shit ton of Minecraft.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Ash, Duck Hunt.
Okay. I want to preface this by saying I don't believe this argument, but I'm going to make it anyway. Duck Hunt is probably the first overwhelmingly popular video game to come out that allowed you to have a toy gun and shoot at the screen.
Sure.
So because of that, I would argue that, I don't know, gun violence, prize.
Duck Hunt, gun violence. You know what you should have done? You
It's
should have
also
said,
frustration.
Yeah, what Duck Hunt did was it made you frustrated because that fucking dog every time would pop up. That little asshole pissed me off so much. Every time I missed.
That is responsible for everyone hitting dogs after.
That's why we don't like dogs anymore.
You're saying that Michael Vick is a product of Duck.
Oh, God.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
God.
He had a bad experience playing Duck Hunt when he was younger. Yep, there it is.
This shit just got
Hey,
dark.
we're making leaps.
All right, Rick, you got some deep cuts to fight against.
Mortal fucking Kombat. 1992, this game came out. I was in 5th grade, all right? I remember it was a sensation because it was the first game that portrayed real blood, ripping people's spines out. There was a code, a blood code. Everybody knows the code, right? They published it in the newspaper, for God's sake, which was weird, okay?
Kids, don't you dare use this code to make your game more exciting.
There wasn't a game like this. Before Mortal Kombat, what was there? There was Kung Fu with and you kick guys and they fall off the stage, you know? You weren't ripping people's arms off and harpooning them through the heart and pools of blood flying everywhere, you know?
I would say River City Ransom was pretty violent. I mean, when you punch people in the gut and they go barf and they explode into money.
That was funny.
Sure.
That was comic humor. This was, and the characters were like photorealistic as well.
That's true.
Yep.
So you weren't just playing a 8-bit character. These were real people with real blood, really falling into spike pits.
Yeah, they were real people filmed on a soundstage.
And what do we have now? Now it's the norm. This was the first. This was the beginning of video game
violence.
And I think that people would say that video games are corrupting the minds of the youth. These violent video games are corrupting the minds of the youth. Oh, man. Okay?
Wow.
There's too much blood. There's too much violence. There's too much sex in video games now. And it's all Mortal Kombat's fault.
You sellouts, all of you. All of you. You should have abstained from this question because video games.
Stumpt would like to say that we don't endorse the opinions.
This view.
We're just trying to win that card.
As a social scientist, I will tell you that there's no evidence to support that claim. All right. Wow. Okay, this is a tough one. Ash, I want to say I'm glad that you recognize at the beginning of it that you don't believe in this argument, but I do have to go with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was the first to have a true controversy over the morality of the game itself. Pong, Duck Hunt, while they may have had different kinds of issues culturally with people why would kids want to stay at home all day when they could be out playing soccers? But instead, Mortal Kombat really did have people up in arms against that game.
It's really hard to answer a question when you have such weird choices.
All right. Good job, everybody, though.
You got to really make a connection.
Last one. Okay. Which is more visually beautiful?
Ooh.
That's some good arguments can be made for this one.
Oh, man, I have a couple of good ones. Part of this comes down to, what did you play, Jazz?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, I could have made this full circle and gone with Miss Pac-Man.
That would have been so good. Full circle. EverQuest. Wow. Okay, I'm going Little Big Planet.
That's a good one.
Card right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ash has left a little bit.
I wanna hear EverQuest first.
EverQuest.
Okay.
EverQuest was some would argue the first MMO, and it really created. I mean, it was the first immersive video game experience that you would share with other people, and these were fully realized open worlds that you would explore, and that first time that you log into your server and you see this world that you've never experienced before, that you're experienced with other players, and there's so much to it was just new and fresh and exciting, and video games had never done this before. I think nowadays, sure, there are a lot more beautiful video games, but I think that this set the bar for making MMOs, these beautiful immersive environments.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sure.
That's my argument.
Let's hear Sonic.
Visually, I think Sonic is really beautiful. It's really bright, colorful levels.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of flashing lights.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite level, and I know it's your favorite level too, is the casino.
Oh, the casino, man.
Casino, yeah.
Although, was that in Sonic the Hedgehog 1?
I'm going through the entire Sonic thing.
Right.
That's okay.
They're beautiful games. They really are. And even in the 3D ones, they're really beautiful. They're bright and colorful.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate the 3D ones, I'm going with the original side-scrolling.
It hurts my eyes. Those flashing lights.
What it can do, what people are capable of doing with pixels, it's just amazed me. And I think that's visually beautiful.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'll add for you, Jazz, on that one that Sonic, when it came out, the ability to move as fast as it did, you know, it completely changed what a platformer could be. Before then, it was all very slow paced. You know, it was Mario. Everything was a clone of Mario, which was a solid game when that came out. But when Sonic came out, you had that speed. It suddenly felt like this world is something that I can tear through, right? And that really, I will say that added a level of beauty that hadn't been in games yet, that really did change the face of, you know, it made the Genesis, you know, grow and made Sega grow, was them having Sonic to really launch that system.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll agree with that for sure.
And Sonic is beautiful.
Sonic is beautiful.
Beautiful son of a bitch.
Yes, beautiful.
All right, Little Big Planet.
All right, Little Big Planet. So we just got done playing a bunch of Little Big Planet today, so it's obviously fresh in all of our minds. But I want to remind everyone that Little Big Planet came out amongst a sea of first-person shooters that were dark and dreary and, you know, intense. It's like this was the new generation of consoles, all right? This was supposed to take us into a world of new and fresh and awesome stuff. And what did we get? We got Gears of War and Halo that, while beautiful in their own rights, they held themselves back from being colorful and really taking any kind of risks. And instead what we got were these kind of washed out color palettes. And then here comes along Little Big Planet, which is all about, you know, you're these cute little characters that are able to interact with their world and move around it. And it's got this fabric tones to it. It's got all these different interactables and everything. It was this beautiful, big, colorful world. And especially you got to have an impact on it. And so you got to feel like you were a part of it. You could you could make your costume from pieces that you find in the environment. You could plaster stickers all over the place. You could do whatever you wanted with this world. And so it was this really beautiful thing that, not just from a visual representation, but your ability to integrate yourself into it. And I think another big thing to think about is that while all of the other games that we've seen over the past decade, when they come out with a new version, they have to update their graphics to some brand new engine that's crazy and, oh my god, do you know how many pixels we see, blah, blah. Little Big Planet looks kind of a lot like it used to when it first came out. Little Big Planet 3 does not look that much different than what Little Big Planet 1 looked like. And I think that says something about the aesthetic that it has, that it's already got it down. It doesn't need to iterate. It doesn't need to change. Instead, they can just add more to it. They can build upon what's already there. So that's why I think Little Big Planet is the most beautiful.
I think the last piece of your argument could also work the same for Sonic as well.
Except those ones have fallen apart as they've tried to make more.
True.
Yeah, but they did a lot more than 3.
Yeah.
Sure. Fair enough.
All right. Well, I want to say that I love all of those games visually. I have to give it to Little Big Planet.
Aw.
Of course you did.
Because... Not just because I personally love the game, which I do. I personally love all those games, although I didn't play that much of EverQuest. Media Molecule, though, crushed it on Little Big Planet. Just the amount of individual art pieces they made in that game is kind of mind-boggling. And they've managed to, obviously, reuse all of them in that game because they put so much effort into it. And sadly, they didn't actually make Little Big Planet 3.
Really?
Yeah, some other studio did.
Oh.
Because they're working on some other exclusive titles.
Well, I'm sure it's probably going to be pretty good, though. Media Molecule makes good stuff.
They do. So, Little Big Planet.
All right! Woo!
That means that Price has won our first ever Metagame tournament.
Yeah!
For those keeping
We should do
score.
this again.
I love it. If you guys want to do another one, I mean, heck.
This fun is all heck.
I have 2. Price has 3.
Yes.
Right on.
This game is a blast. They ended the Kickstarter last year, and so the last update, they were getting ready to ship out the full versions to the people who donated. But they've got a bunch of different versions that they're doing. They're doing a cipher version and stuff. It looks like it's going to be a blast, and I think that it's going to be really, really popular and successful. So keep your eyes out for Metagame, everybody. Let's go into the last part of our extended edition podcast.
Stumpt's Adventure Corner.
All right, Stumpt's Adventure Corner. Let's get into it. Woo-hoo. So, the 4 adventurers are standing around a pub, waiting for a table to become available. It's a busy night. It's the end of the week, which means payday, which means all the locals are doing their best to spend their money as quick as possible at the bar, including the 4 of us.
Yep. Did we just get paid?
We did.
We got paid.
Yeah! All that community service paid off.
We place an order for a round of drinks and we wait at the bar. The place is bustling, and there's laughter, and the waitresses are calling out orders, and the local band is on stage. Rick spots a group of 4 people, all wearing gray hooded robes, that are just leaving a table, and so we managed to push past the crowd and snag it.
Nice, we got the table.
Yep.
Yes, good eyes, Rick. Good eyes.
The waitress arrives, gives Rick a wink and says, "Here you go, love."
Hey, thanks, baby.
And sits down 4 drinks on the table. We all give it a taste. Rye whiskey, good stuff.
Yeah.
The band starts playing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. Jasmine starts rocking out and singing along.
Hey, Jasmine.
Jasmine, the stage is that way. It's that way.
I can hear it.
A man, a bearded man, raggedy, happily drunk, ends up coming up to Rick and says, "Hey, I bet I can slam my drink before you can slam yours.
Oh, really?
Bet you a nickel."
A nickel?
A nickel.
Would you like to accept his challenge?
Yeah, you're on, friend.
Go ahead and roll to see.
2.
Oh,
What happened? I hit myself in the forehead with my drink. No.
That's when he discovered he had a drinking problem.
You're too drunk already. You end up spilling it all over you.
Jesus.
When he said slam, you thought slam into your forehead.
Exactly. But you slammed the drink back down on the table, still half full and spilt all over.
And losing a nickel.
And as you slam it back down, Price notices something rattling on the table.
Well, what's that rattling?
It appears
Looks
to
like
be
a 20-sided dice.
It appears to be a dice, a D20, as a matter of fact.
Hey, I got it right.
Those ears of yours.
Yeah.
They're good.
Hey, even a broken clock's right twice a day.
His natural curiosity
Thanks.
gets the better of him, and he gives it a roll.
Of course. I mean, what is this? Huh.
3.
As the dice leaves Price's hand, it seems to fall unnaturally fast towards the table, and
Yeah,
it hits the table with a large slam. It draws all of our attention, and we all look down at it,
That dice seems really heavy, guys.
but nothing seems to happen after it lands, so
Okay.
we just sort of look back around, and the person that challenged you for a drink, he seems to have wandered away.
Where'd he go?
Yeah,
You still kept out a nickel.
the drinks seem to have been cleared away from our table as well. The glasses have gone. And then the waitress comes up to the table, gives Rick a wink, and says, "Here you go, cutie."
Hey, thanks, baby.
Sets down 4 drinks on the table. Rick gives the drink a try and spits it out. Cranberry juice.
What? This is not whiskey. This is cranberry juice.
Is this?
And the waitress looks back at you. Whiskey? You know that alcohol has been outlawed for the past 400 years.
What?
What have we done?
The
What did you do, Price?
I don't know.
The band on stage starts singing the Hansons Mbop.
What?
And a clean-shaved man in a white suit comes up to Rick and says, "Hey, I wonder if you'd be up for a bit of a fun game. I bet you I can do all the dishes before you sweep the floor. What do you
Sounds
say?"
terrible, friend. Take a hike.
What kind of a monster are you?
We all seem to be trapped in a strange world. What do we do?
Roll that dice
Roll
again.
the dice again.
What is it? What is it? I can't see it.
It's a 10.
10. The group looks up for the table and notices something seems off about the patrons in the bar now. They all look hairier,
Oh, God.
furrier. They all
Are
seem
they
to have
bears?
large ears.
They're barrier.
They're cats.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
They're all large, people-sized cats.
How about Blue? Is Blue a giant-sized cat now, too?
Though... no. He's still
It's
just
a creepy
blue.
little baby that you carry around now.
Blue.
The waitress cat comes up to the table, gives Rick a wink, and says, "Meow, meow, 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 meow,"
Meow, meow, baby.
and sets down 4 saucers of milk on the table. The band starts playing
better
what
than
seems to
cranberry
be
juice.
Aqua's Barbie Girl, but in meows.
Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow.
An older gray tabby comes up and taps Rick on the shoulder and says, "Meow, meow, 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 meow."
Meow, meow, meow.
And then he starts licking himself.
Yeah. And I lick myself.
What do we do?
Rick, roll the dice.
Rick, you roll the
Fix
dice.
Hold
everything.
on, I'm licking myself.
I'll do it for him.
I'm rolling this dice. 14.
The group looks up from the table and notices that the cats are gone. At least looks like
God.
normal people this time.
Thank
Okay.
God.
Although they all seem larger. They all seem very tall.
Are we
And
small?
Ash, are you normal amongst these tall people?
I am, actually.
Oh,
Oh, so we're the midgets.
it happens.
In fact, they all look kind of the same. In fact, they all look like Ash. They all look exactly like Ash.
Ash.
9
Some
feet
kind of
tall.
bizarro John Malkovich
Wait,
world.
do we all look like Ash?
No.
Thank God.
I don't
All
know if I
half
can take that
giant.
height.
Some are wearing armor, some are in the band, some are wearing waitress outfits.
Oh, God, I know what's going to happen next.
One of the Ash waitresses walks up to the table, gives Rick a wink, and says, "Here you go, sweetie."
Thanks, kid.
And sets down 4 large beer mugs on the table.
Well, at least we got beer now.
Yeah.
The band starts playing the Beatles. 1 is the loneliest number.
Ash is the lonelier.
One of the Ashes in armor comes up to the table and looks at Rick and says, "Hey, it looks like you all need to play a game. The game's called One of Us.
Oh god.
Oh god.
I bet you'll win."
One of us. One of us.
What should we do?
Oh god.
Ash,
Ash,
roll
you
this
need to roll
dice
the dice.
and fix the wrongs that we have done.
Okay.
Although part of me thinks maybe we should just go with it, because at least there's beer in this world.
Yeah, right? How bad
Also,
could it
there's
be?
a good-looking guy named Ash.
That's right.
You're biased.
So the group goes through this many times, seeing strange worlds full of pigs and full of strange people from some sort of supernatural thing that fight demons and stuff, that love pie, and full of...
I was Dean for a day.
Full of everyone that... full of a world where everyone was a bottle of alcohol, and Rick was very happy in this world until he discovered that they served people as drinks.
Oh, weird.
He tried to drink me, and it was weird.
Finally, they emerge from the bar. They emerge at a table and find that everything seems relatively normal and what they're used to. Okay. Except that the table that they're at seems to have 4 gray robes at the back of their seats.
Whoa.
So...
Are we the gray-robed people now?
You pick up the 4 gray robes, you put them on, you leave the dice, and you leave. Passing a group of adventurers that looks eerily familiar. And so ends this week's Stumpt Adventures.
Oh, man.
Well done, sir.
You've outdone yourself this time.
I'm ready for my LASIK today.
Do it.
Jasmine's rolling for LASIK. A
7. Not
Your
good
vision
enough.
still sucks.
When is it going to happen?
One of these
One of
days.
these days, Jasmine. One of these days.
Was that at all Sliders inspired?
It was.
Yep, I was thinking Sliders the entire time.
That was
Like,
good. That was so good.
And the episode of Community where they go to parallel universes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Chaos Theory.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And Rick and Morty.
And all of the great
You're the
things
Rickest
that
Rick.
were ever done ever.
I like when those 2 pizzas are ordering.
Yeah?
You know.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you guys. That is, I guess we'll cap the end of our extended version of the Stumptcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys will come back next time. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.